So rumors are growing stronger that Anthony Joshua's next fight could actually be in the United States against Jarrell Miller at Madison Square Garden in New York City. And this is also going hand in hand with the rumor that April 13th might not feature Anthony Joshua, but instead Dillian Whyte versus Vladimir Klitschko. That's the rumor which is going round, which was kind of revealed by Steve Bunce on BBC Radio 5 Live yesterday. He didn't specifically say Dillian Whyte, but he did say Klitschko, and it wouldn't be Klitschko versus Joshua or Fury. So, yeah, Joshua taking on Miller in the United States. I think this would be a strategic move by Joshua and Matchroom to try and build Anthony Joshua's profile in the United States as a response to, I mean, they were always looking to fight in the United States, at least Eddie Hearn was, because Joshua was kind of a little 50-50 about whether he ever wanted to go to the US and fight. But Eddie Hearn always seemed keen on having Joshua fight there. And the timing of this, if it actually happens, Anthony Joshua versus Jarrell Miller this year, the timing of it appears to be a direct response to the success that Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury had as an event on December 1st last year. Joshua thinking, you know what, I need to do something about this. I can't let either one of these guys overtake me or catch up to me. So let me go over to the United States, take on a big mouth American, and win over some fans and put some pressure on Deontay Wilder in his own backyard by beating up a loudmouth American. I suspect that's what Anthony Joshua was thinking, and the same goes for his promoter Eddie Hearn. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. I did a video the other day where I gave my top 5 opponents in order of priority who I'd like to see Anthony Joshua face in his next fight. And the person I had third on the list was Jarrell Miller, behind Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. And I've gone into why I would like to see Joshua versus Miller ahead of Joshua versus Dillian Whyte 2, ahead of Joshua versus Luis Ortiz or anybody else in the top 10, aside from Wilder and Fury. I've gone into the reasons why. It's just a stylistic matchup that I like. I think Jarrell Miller is someone who truly believes in himself. He's a very big man, obviously. He's tremendously physically strong. He's got a great work rate. Okay, he is a plodder. There's no question about that. He hasn't demonstrated particularly fast feet. He looks like he can be outmaneuvered. But Joshua is not the most nimble-footed fighter himself. Would he be nimble enough to get away from Jarrell Miller? Does he have, we know Joshua can punch, but how good is Jarrell Miller's chin? Can Jarrell Miller absorb what Joshua throws at him and fire back to good effect? Jarrell Miller truly believes that Anthony Joshua is a cupcake. I mean, I'm sure he respects Joshua's physicality to a certain extent, but I think he doesn't believe Joshua has the heart to stand with him mano a mano and slug it out. He believes that once he takes Joshua into the trenches, Joshua's going to fold like a deck chair. That is truly what Jarrell Miller appears to believe deep in his heart. And I'm sure that's how he's going to fight. I think it's an intriguing matchup, and it's a matchup in which, of course, Anthony Joshua would have to start as the favorite, and understandably so, but I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if Jarrell Miller was able to pull off an upset. Not even slightly surprised. So I personally hope the fight happens. If we can't see AJ versus Wilder or Fury for whatever reason, then AJ versus Miller, to me, is the next best thing. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Will this fight happen? Won't it happen? Do you think it's a good idea for Anthony Joshua to do this? Do you think that he is underestimating Miller? I mean, I want to find out what kind of contract Eddie Hearn is going to make Jarrell Miller sign if he gives him the Joshua fight? Is he going to make him sign a multi-fight contract? Because this is often the case when you get a promoter risking their cash cow against a relatively unheralded challenger who is dangerous. You'll often get the promoter trying to get options on the challenger to promote their next several fights. If their cash cow is going up against another cash cow, there doesn't tend to be that kind of situation where they want options and all this kind of business. Well, they might want them, but they usually don't get them, or very often don't get options. They usually have to do maybe a situation where it's a one-off fight deal, or it's just a one-off fight with a rematch clause. But when you've got a fighter like Miller, who is not a cash cow, who's not very well known even in his own country, but he's dangerous, I would have to imagine that Eddie Hearn will at least explore the possibility of signing Jarrell Miller to a multi-fight contract if he manages to beat Anthony Joshua. And I know he's with Matchroom at the moment, co-promoted, and he fights on DAZN, but to my understanding, it's a fairly short contract. I would imagine he would want Jarrell Miller on a much longer term basis if he beats Anthony Joshua. And I suspect he would try and put those provisions in any contract for that fight. But who knows? I'll be interested to find out about that if Eddie Hearn would ever be willing to reveal it. So yeah, anyway, let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Anthony Joshua potentially fighting Big Baby Jarrell Miller. How do you see it going? Do you think I overrate Jarrell Miller? I know a lot of you do. A lot of you think, oh, Hatman Miller's not that good. He's a fat guy. He's a plodder. He gets hit way too much. He's not really a big puncher. Joshua's going to batter him in 4 or 5 rounds. All right, maybe you're right. But I just have the feeling that Jarrell Miller stylistically has the potential to give Anthony Joshua all kinds of problems. A lot of it does, though, depend on whether Jarrell Miller can take Joshua's power. If Jarrell Miller struggles to take Joshua's power, then he's almost certainly not going to win the fight, right? He might get put in his shell, so he might not necessarily get knocked out if he can't take Joshua's power. He might just go into his shell, fight conservatively, and hope to last the distance. But if he can take Joshua's power, I think it's very, very interesting. So yeah, let me know, people. It's Hatman, I'm out.
Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.